Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to Desert Sky Mystic. Today we're going to be doing our love and relationship reading for Sagittarius. So this is a timeless reading. So if you are watching this and you found your way to this video, then there is a message in here for you. This is a general reading as well, so it may not apply to everybody, but if it resonates for you, please make sure to like the video for me. And then, of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. That helps us out quite a bit. And we'd love to have you as part of the family. So the format of this is basically three cards with some clarifying cards on top of those. The first section, this is a three-part reading. The first part is going to be for those of you that are in a relationship. The second part is going to be for those of you that are looking to be in a relationship, looking for love. And then the final part is going to be for those of you that are moving away from a relationship and kind of what's going on there. If you look down in the description box, there's also going to be some timestamps. So that will allow you, if you just click on the part of the reading that relates to you, it will allow you to jump right ahead to that section of the video, and you can skip the rest. Okay, so having said that, Sagittarius, let's go on and take a look to see what the cards have in store for you today. All right, so for those of you that are in a relationship and are here for the reading, you are in the right place. Let's go on and see what we're working with. Reclaim your power. Okay, the Panther spirit. Okay, so I think you're feeling a little lost in a relationship. Hopefully this isn't an extreme situation by any means, but right now you're feeling kind of powerless. You're feeling kind of like you don't have a say in the relationship, that or perhaps it's you do nothing right, you don't really get to have input, that everything you do or say kind of gets overridden by your partner, things along those lines. Just something to do with the feeling that you've lost power, you've given up a piece of yourself, hopefully not all of yourself, but it's just not a good spot. It's unbalanced. It's not a good place right now to be at. We're going to get some clarification cards out here to see what more we can find out about this and kind of how to move forward for you. But either way, I think that the important thing here is that you recognize this and accept this and start trying to figure out what are the steps you're going to take to reclaim your power. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, I think this is all about you. Not again, this isn't a don't how do I say this? I'm not saying this is your fault. I'm not saying this is victim blaming. I'm saying that I'm not trying to victim blame by any means here. What I'm saying is that you've kind of relinquished that, because we relinquished this control and this power, I think, subtly and little by little. And before you know it, it was a lot more of it was gone than you realized. And, and I think that maybe the partner isn't necessarily doing this on purpose, but if you've slowly relinquished this, let me just give you an example. If this is going to be a stupid example, but just bear with me here. If let's say that every time you guys are trying to decide where to eat, this person, would ask you, and you were like, well, I don't care. I don't care. You pick, you pick, you pick, you pick. And let's just say over the course of 4 or 5 years, this other person always picked. And now all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a minute, how come I never get to pick? I want to pick. And then this person is so used to picking, they just, no, I don't like that. Let's go here. So they feel like that's kind of their thing, that that they're so used to doing it. They're so used to having that responsibility put on them, that just comes very natural. And then so there's this kind of tendency to override what you're wanting at this point in time. So there's nothing wrong with now wanting to pick all of a sudden, but perhaps you need to communicate that back over. And again, that's not a great example, but I'm just trying to figure out something to try to express this energy that I'm feeling here. And again, I think that this has been a slow eroding deal. That's why I say it like that. Because I think overall the relationship has traditionally been good, but there's just been pieces that you just haven't really enforced. Has been parts of you, and perhaps you're changing as well. I mean, perhaps you're feeling the need to become more assertive and have more control in a relationship, to where in the past maybe that hasn't been your deal. But now that this is here, regardless of how we got here, we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with this, because if you don't speak up about this, and if you don't have those conversations, you don't figure out the balance and the middle ground here, then this is going to be an eroding deal. And I think that's what's actually happening. You got the glass floor kind of cracking here. And to me, this is telling me this has been overall a good relationship that is now eroding. And I think it's because of these control issues, or these perceptions of control issues, this kind of loss of power and assertiveness and those types of things. And I think that ultimately, though, this is on you. I think this is in terms of, if you don't do something, nothing's going to change. This other person, I don't even think has any really. I don't know. Maybe they have, but I get kind of the sense that um, some of this has just been stuff that they're so used to doing that they just, that's who they are and what they do now. And maybe they don't even realize it. Maybe they do. Maybe they are, maybe it is a serious control issue. But if it is a serious control issue that's unhealthy, that's a whole different issue. You need to get out of that relationship. This doesn't feel like that. This feels like the relationship, I don't want to say stale, but has gotten to a point to where you guys have changed, because we change in a relationship over a long enough period of time. We grow, and the goal is to try to grow together, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes we grow apart, and we got to figure out how to grow back together if we want this relationship to continue on. And I kind of feel like that's where you're at right now. But we got the outsider card here, which you just see this little boy here, and on the other side, there's all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, maybe there's a playground, there's all kinds of colors, maybe some swimming, I don't know. But whatever's here, this boy really wants to get over there. And I think that's kind of where you're at right now, is that you don't like where you're at anymore, and you want things, you have a different idea of how you want this to be. The cool thing about this outsider card, though, is that this padlock's unlocked. I mean, all he has to do is move this chain and step through, and I feel like that's where you're at as well. And I think that comes in the form of conversations and communication. And, get back to our dumb example, maybe it's along the lines of, the next time that conversation happens, if, either one, you assert yourself on the front end, or two, if they come back and say, nah, we're going to go over here, just say, listen, for the longest time, I haven't cared, but I'm starting to care, and actually, I'd like to pick some of the times tonight. I'm really feeling like this food. Can we go here? And I mean, it's that communication, and not attacking. We don't want to attack, of course. We just want to be open and communicate, because the other person can't understand if we're not communicating, if we're not speaking our mind and our piece to them. And I think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about reclaiming our power. Is however you have changed as an individual in this relationship, if you guys have kind of done a little bit of this, that's kind of where you're going, that communication is going to bridge that gap. And that's a very natural type of thing. I mean, we go in and out and in and out. But the ones we love, we're willing to put the work in and find those common points of interest again, and communicate, and accept each other through the changes and work with that. So let's take a look at this advice card. A little bit long-winded on this one, and that's perfectly fine. A lot to say. Let's just see what this advice card has anything cool to add to this. Love your inner child. See, yeah, this is about getting back to yourself. It's about, again, I think that you are, again, not content with who you are within this relationship and would like to see things different. And really, I think this comes back to giving yourself some self-love, some self-care, defining what it is you want, and finding healthy ways to communicate that, so that you guys can come back together. And it's very likely that it's potential, at least, that this partner, maybe they don't even know that there's a point of contention. Maybe they don't understand that there's been some kind of growing apart happening on some of these issues, because they've been internal issues. But again, yeah, I think it's self-love. I think it's really identifying where you're at right now, communicating and bridging the gap in a relationship, and bringing you guys closer together as you move forward. So That's what I have for this reading. I hope it helps. If it did resonate with you, please make sure to like the video. And then after you're done with that, make sure to subscribe as well. We'll really appreciate that. Let's see here. So yeah, that's what I have. And thank you for watching. And we will see you next time. From here, we're going to go on and move on to our friends that are looking for love and see what kind of energies we are working with for them. Looking for love. Sing your own song. I really like this. Canary Spirit. I really like this card. I mean, the thing that really comes across here energy-wise for me is that you need to be your own person. You shouldn't be compromising as you get into relationships. You need to maintain that part of yourself. I think if you've given up too much of yourself in the past, in other relationships, and it's been, well, ultimately the relationships haven't really worked. I mean, ultimately is because you are not being who you're supposed to be, and for you I think it's important to be unique. You be your unique, lovely, beautiful self, whether that's not gender specific either. You've got to be who you are, and that person's got to love you for who you are and want to be with you for who you are. And so I really like that card for all of you that are looking for relationships at this point in time. Let's see what some clarification cards have to say and see if they take us, what kind of direction they take us in here. Yeah. Okay, so we have the rebirth card here, and I mean, I think that really kind of reinforces what I was talking about. I think that you've gone through a series of things here to where, this rebirth card is really a card of evolution, again, this camel that's in this cloud and this smog and everything else. I think that's where you've been, and it's kind of adapting for other people, being who other people want you to be, and so forth. And you can see it's gray, it's meh, it's not exciting, it doesn't make you happy, and really there's a rebound effect on it. So when you do come out of this, I mean, usually it kind of goes a little more aggressive. You're over the top and you get into crazier things, and then that swing to the other side of this energy is really not all that much better than this. I mean, you feel more energized, you feel more empowered, those types of things. But really, what we're looking for is this balance, and I don't think we find this balance. And what I really love about this is that this canary is on a flute, and this girl here is playing a flute. So I love how that ties together. And again, I think for you, this is really about finding that balance. And you cannot find that balance until you are expressing who you are, the true you, not this camel, not this lion, but, what lies between. Again, and I think that's a beautiful, unique, creative person. We got the creativity card here, and creativity card's about abundance and being unique, being yourself, being creative, all of those things. And what's the word I'm looking for? And just really leaning into your own individual uniqueness. I mean, you are not normal, for lack of better words, and that is an amazing thing. There's too many normal people, or people wanting to be normal. Lean into who you are, because it's amazing, it's awesome. And so just make sure that that's your standard that you have as you kind of move forward looking for this next relationship. And this will happen when it's supposed to happen. Let's take a look at the advice card here real quick and see what else we can add to this reading for you. See if there's some other energies we can look at and talk about. Yeah, that flute thing's awesome. I really love when cards kind of like sync and line up. Very powerful. Okay, let's see here. Be a curious creature. Couldn't have a better card, really. I mean, for what I'm gathering is you being a very unique personality, very creative personality, and just being open to life. And I think that curiosity, that creativity, that sing your own song. I mean, I think that ties in exactly to being a curious creature, because that's you. I mean, you got to dig into it. You got to know everything. Your outlook on life is optimistic. I mean, everything is like so wondrous, and it reminds me a lot of like the Fool card in the Rider-Waite tarot. Just just everything is brand new and open, and the everything's to be explored, and everything is a wonder. So I really get that energy out of this, and I think the cards are reflecting that as well. So really cool. I really like this. I think tying this back in though, is that if this is you, if this is resonating with you, that it's very important for you to embrace this about yourself, because if you are not yourself and you try to be something else for somebody else like you have in the past, it's not going to work. You're going to be miserable. And I would much rather see you, without a partner for the rest of your life and be extraordinarily happy than be tied down with someone that doesn't make you happy, or it pulls you out of this. Because I mean, this is just an amazing energy, and I think that you should express that the world needs this. So that's just my 2 cents. So, I hope this has been helpful. If this resonates with you and it has been helpful, please make sure to like the video for me and then turn around and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. Helps us out quite a bit. So yeah, thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you next time. And from here, we will move on to our final position, which is going to be for all of you that are moving away from a relationship. Let's see what we're working with. That. All right, what do we got here? Lay a solid foundation. I think this is about just the beaver spirit. And, in terms of moving away from a relationship, I think this is really about finding yourself again, and, finding that solid foundation. But I think that it's going to have to come from you, that, perhaps in the past that you looked to others for this, or perhaps you relied on others for the stability in this foundation. I think it's time is calling for you to be, and it's saying you are the only one that can really do this in a permanent type kind of way. And I think that solid foundation will then, once you get this set, once rediscover yourself and who you are outside of a relationship, once you move away from this energy, this foundation is going to make future relationships and just life in general, overall happiness, a lot stronger, a lot more likely. So again, I think this is just calling back for you to rediscover yourself, kind of almost start over from scratch. I mean, I almost get the feeling there isn't much of a foundation there anyway. So just start building, and that includes all the stuff that you want, and all the things you don't want as well. Have standards. Not that you haven't in the past, but from the stuff that you've learned, these new lessons you've learned, and whatever you can take out of this relationship that you're moving away from right now, incorporate those into your new standards moving forward. Let's see what the clarification cards have to say. Yeah, I think this was a learning experience for you. I think this is something that, put some tools in your toolbox. I don't know how intensive a relationship this was, but I know coming out of it, just seeing at this maturity, you're looking things at a new way, a healthier way, a more adult way. I could probably state that you are probably even the one that ended this one, because you're taking a look at this. You knew that it wasn't right for you, that it didn't serve you long term, as it wasn't what you wanted. So there were the standards there or whatever. And I think that maybe this was one of the first times you've done that. If I'm tying this together with the beaver spirit, to lay the solid foundation. But I think that in this relationship, you're just basically like, what, I'm just tired of this same old crap. This isn't good for me. I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna take a serious look at what it is about me and what I'm doing that attracts these type of people, attracts these type of relationships, and you're going to make some changes. And that's where that lay a solid foundation is. And I think it's this new energy, it's this new way looking at life, more mature, a more adult, you're running more of your own energy. You are being more of who you are meant to be. And, you're taking control of your own destiny, because you realize that you can't control others. You can only control how you maneuver and how you react to things. So I think this is a very, very healthy energy that you have going here. And I'm not sure if you're ready yet, but when that time comes, when this foundation's set, and your standards are all kind of sussed out, and you really thought those things through, I think your next relationship is actually going to be a really solid, healthy relationship. And I think that what's great about this is that The people that come into your life that normally that in the past perhaps you would have been in a relationship with, and regretted it. I think you're going to be able to see those people for who they are early and be like, no, you're not for me. This isn't a good fit for me. I could tell already based off everything you've seen in the past. So let's take a look here at the advice card and see what more we can learn here. Hush, listen. Uh, Best advice ever, really. I mean, we could all do to heed this advice, and stop talking as I'm sitting here talking, but stop talking and listening. And I think this is really about going inwards and listening to yourself, and stop listening to everybody else. And it's just really kind of this going in and really understanding what you want, what your needs are, how you want to live, and those types of things. And then, as new relationships, as new people come through, of course, just really evaluating them before you let it get to any type of level to where it's, where there's any type of attachment for your end. Just reevaluating, making sure that those initial red flags aren't going off and that they meet your standards, at least the initial standards. Of course, it takes a while to get to know somebody, but I think that's a great way to kind of cap that off. Hush and listen. And I think you're talking about hushing and listening to yourself, is really where I get the feel of this energy for that card. So overall, I think, even if this is even if you are moving away from a relationship, which is never easy, I think this is a great reading for you. I think that you're in a very healthy, solid path moving forward. And, I look forward for you, to your future in this. I think it's really going to turn out great for you on the relationship front. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. If this video resonates with you, make sure to like the video. And then, of course, after you're done with that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for that. That helps us out quite a bit. And yeah, that's what I have for this time round. Thank you once again for watching, and we will see you next time.